So, today I'm going to be talking about how it's so easy to fake your life and why I think authenticity is kind of a lost form in today's day and age. So, I graduated in 2022. I graduated from a tech school, and post graduation, I would weirdly say was almost a bit traumatizing for me. I don't know how else to describe it, but more just overwhelming this overwhelming sense of inadequacy post graduation, mostly because I didn't go into a job that was specifically suited for the degree that I got. I felt a overwhelming sense of pressure from my peers and my family. Not that it had been articulated, but just this kind of preemptive pressure I was feeling. And I felt very inadequate. I felt like what I had accomplished in school was almost nothing because I didn't get the career I wanted right out of college. Of course, I was happy to have a job, and at the end of the day, I was able to move right out of my house and just start working in living in a major city. And definitely in retrospect, that's no small feat on its own. But yeah, there was just this huge sense of feeling like I wasn't good enough, or that I had failed my peers and my family, or that I had failed myself, and that I wasn't living up to this arbitrary potential that I had put on myself. Again, no one had specifically told me any sort of things, but the way your parents talk and seeing your peers and what they go on to, it's really hard to not feel um, this sense of insecurity. And the older I get, the more I realize my entire life has kind of been plagued by insecurity, which is very unfortunate. But as I get older, I'm kind of learning how to deal with it. And it just makes me think about how much I've struggled as a young kid into like my early to late teenage years, and now kind of being in my mid 20s. I'm 25 years old, and yeah, I still feel an overwhelming sense of insecurity. And I felt like there was this life for me that I was promised right out of college that I'm sure most people are, quite aware of and have kind of fallen into. Um, but yeah, there was this sense of following all my friends and classmates on social media and kind of seeing just the best parts of their life. Through this kind of curation on social media, I tried to do it too. I saw a lot of people graduate, immediately started working, living in the same city as me, and kind of just highlighting all the best parts of their life. And as someone who knows that that's the whole game of social media, is just faking, or not necessarily faking, because it's all real, it all happened, but I guess more of just this curation and like hand picked moments from each week and each month of your life. And as someone who knows that, it was hard to still be on social media and still not fall into the same trap of feeling like, wow, everyone's doing so much better than me. I've completely fallen behind. And as time kind of went on in this post graduation year, kind of feeling my footing out, living in a major city, kind of getting a sense for how to take care of myself, how to survive on my own, I realized that it was really easy to do. And I ended up doing a lot of this thing that I felt other people were doing, but I was doing it intentionally. I was posting only the highlights from my life. I would only post stories when I really feel like there was something funny or something worthwhile to be said. And I'm not trying to make it sound like the people that I knew were doing anything malicious, that they were posting these videos and images and like stuff that they're working on as like a weird way to like make me personally feel bad about myself. I understand that is not the case. But my brain and the way I process the world definitely made it hard to not be able to objectively take in social media after college without it feeling like some sort of slight against me. And I think that was, kind of a really toxic relationship to have. When I found myself doing these moments of curation and trying to highlight things almost as a way to show other people that I was doing just fine, I was doing great, I was going to events, I was socializing with people. But of course, as someone who's living the life, I know that most of the week was spent just working and going home and doing nothing. And it really made me have a bad relationship with social media, and especially Instagram. Even now I still have a little bit of trouble of objectively consuming content on Instagram. It's probably my least used social media out of anything. I haven't straight up deleted off all my devices like TikTok or Facebook or anything like that. But yeah, it's hard, and that was something I couldn't quite grapple with, was feeling like I had to do what I felt everyone else was doing so people didn't look down upon me. And I think it was kind of hard to realize that people don't really care about what you do after college, for better or for worse. Some people graduate and they live a life and they don't think about you ever again, even if you were best friends in college. People are self-centered at the end of the day, and I'm not saying that as a knock against anybody, but more of just a critique of greater society. Even though we evolved from animals and we still value the tribe and the herd, at the end of the day, you're still trying to take care of yourself and your family. It's great when the tribe gets to eat, but at the end of the day, when you're confronted with conflict or life or death situations, you're thinking about yourself and your immediate family, and your immediate tribe. So I don't really know where I'm going with this, but more this is just kind of me trying to articulate a lot of the issues I had with social media post college, and kind of how it really negatively affected me. And I get I'm probably one in a million in that category. I know a ton of people who use social media every day, they're doing just fine, but I personally could not handle it. And that is something I'm trying to repair my relationship with, because there's avoidance and then there is overcoming anxiety. I can just delete Instagram and never have to deal with it. Or I recognize that it's a powerful tool in this day of digital media, and I should be able to go on Instagram and look at someone's story and look at someone's post and not feel some sort of way about myself. And I think that's super important. And I realized that I could spend all this time doing exactly what I thought everyone else was doing and just posting my best moments. And that's totally fine. But I realized that I think if I have to live an authentic life to myself, it's not going to be spent on social media, at least in that way of curation and kind of just posting the best moments. I think it's important to approach social media with a completely carefree approach. You want to just post stuff. Don't think about, will this get attention? Will this blah, blah, blah? Unless you're a content creator, I think that's totally valid. But for the average people, I don't think we need to gamify our own social media use in such a way that we're trying to convince people of a life we're not living. Again, I don't know if this makes a whole lot of sense. This is just kind of something I've been feeling, and repairing my relationship with social media is something I've been working on, because I don't remember the quote, but it was basically saying something along the lines of, it is more noble to have self-control and self-restraint than it is to just have complete avoidance and just shelter yourself off from the things that might stress you out or make your life feel a little bit more difficult. So, anyways, that's kind of my rant. I hope the major theme of this story kind of holds up. It kind of took some twists and turns, but again, this channel is just for me to kind of speak my truth, and if people relate to it, then that's awesome, and that's really all I'm trying to do. So, without further ado, I'm going to leave. Bye.